I'm going to walk you through how I built a new feature from scratch, basically. So, try and think about. Okay, let me first open a different program where I usually try to sketch user stories. Okay. So here's how the thinking goes for all my user stories. If I'm not talking to a product manager, I do this in my head or on a piece of paper. But if I'm talking to someone, I usually use sticky notes or a whiteboard or even this program to decide what to work on and how the feature would look like. And so let's suppose that this is a goal for a user and he wants to update his account, right? So this is the main goal of the user. And in this meeting where we talk about what we should build next, we're kind of describing the user steps through the application, right? So our user wants to update his account. So for that, he probably needs to first go to the homepage, right? Go to homepage. And so if he's on the homepage, he would probably need to go to some kind of details page or profile page or whatever. So let's call that account details, right? And then on the account details, he's probably going to see a form and he updates his information in there. So it's just like a user profile form that David is building, right? And so let's say on that page, I'm updating my name. And after that, I'm going to see the name. Right? So to get to this goal here, the top one, I need to go through these 4 steps. Right? So that's kind of the thinking that goes before writing a test. And these steps become the feature file, right? So if you think about the feature name being update account, then the scenario would be when I go to the home page and I go to the details page, and then I update my name, then I should see my name update, right? So that's kind of where the feature or the user story comes from talking to someone that's probably non-technical, because that's why I'm using Cucumber. I'm usually talking to a business analyst or a stakeholder or product manager, and it's easier to talk in English with them instead of throwing technical jargon at them. So once I have that, then I go to my editor and create a feature file. So let's say the feature is going to be called update account feature. Okay. So in this feature, I'm going to have a description. It says update account. Okay, and I update my account. And now I'm going to write those features that were on the storyboard. So let's say, given I am on the homepage, well, when I go to the account, no, to my account details, and I change my account name, then I should be on the home page, and I should see the new account info. Right. So this is that same thing that was on the whiteboard, right? But written as a test. So now I'm going to run that file, update account. And Cucumber gives me all the steps I need here. I'm going to paste these into an account, steps. So as you can see, the name of the steps file has something to do with the feature name. So it's easier to find if they have something in common. So that's usually my first call. I'm going to try to figure out the topic of the feature and create a steps file from that. Okay, so now I'm going to think it through and decide what I want to have in all those steps, right? So for the homepage one, I'm going to say I'm visiting the homepage, the /URL. And then I'm going to click on a account edit link, right? And then I'm going to fill in the account name with new name. And I expect to have and path be the homepage. And then I also expect the homepage to have this new name content. Okay, so this is my test. This is where I start from, right? I'm describing what my application needs to do. And then when I have all my requirements, then I go ahead and run the test. So what I want to point out is that from this point forward, everything I do in my code is driven by this test. I don't write anything else unless the test requires it, right? So by running the test first, I have my first task. The test tells me it's unable to find a button that says account edit, right? So I'm going to go in the code and add a link, right? So let's go on the home page, and I'll just add a link here. Account details. Details. I don't know where it's going to go, but I need to have an ID account. So notice that I don't care how this is going to work. I only care about satisfying the test, right? So I only care about having this ID, a link with this ID, right? And then I run the test again. And as you notice, I get a different error now, right? So this previous one said, I cannot find an account edit link. And this one says, I cannot find a field with account name, right? So now I'm going to think about, okay, how do I satisfy this thing? How do I create that account name field? And so I'm going to do just enough so that the test passes. And I'm not going to worry about anything else, right? So let's say that if I click this link, I want to go to an edit account path, right? Let's see what that gives me. Oh, it doesn't know about the edit account path, right? Because I didn't tell it what it means. So let's open the routes. And I'm going to say I have a get link that's going to accounts edit. And that's going to be in the accounts controller edit as an account, edit account. Okay. Controller key. So something is not right. Okay, so this needs to be 2. Let's try that again. Okay, now it doesn't know about the accounts controller because I don't have one. So I'm going to create an accounts controller. Accounts controller. Okay. That should satisfy the complaint. And now it's missing an edit action. Okay, I'm going to add the edit action. Edit. Running the test again. Okay, and now the edit action is missing a template. Again, I'm going to go and create one. This needs to go into accounts, edit. Accounts, edit. Okay. Unable to find field account name. Okay, because my new page doesn't have anything in it, right? So I need to have a form here. Oops. Okay, so I'm going to say form for accounts, and then and this form. And I'm going to have a field, text field, that says name with an ID of account name. That should make it happy. Okay, Now it says the first argument in the form cannot contain nil or be empty. That's because I'm using an instance variable that I wish I had, but I don't. So I'm going to go into this edit action and add that account variable. And I'm going to want to initialize it with an account. Account. I wouldn't want to say new because I want to edit an existing account, right? So let's say first. I'm going to pick the first one just to make things easier. Okay, I'm going to run the test again. Okay, so now it complains about the account model that I've used there, which I don't have. So I'm going to generate one. Generate model count. And I want it to have a field called name. I'm going to migrate this. And also for the test, Rails. Okay, so let's run this again. Okay, so now it's back on the form telling me that the account variable is nil. So that's because I've said account first, and I don't have an account, right? So at this point, I could just assume that I have an account created before, or I could create a new feature that says, here's how I create accounts, right? But with TDD, you want to go through this one path in one go and optimize later. So my goal now is to make this test pass. And I can worry about creating new accounts later. So what I'm going to do is go to my feature file and say, okay, before this thing, I want to have an account. Have an account, right? And I'm on the home page. So if I run this, it's going to complain about the new step that I've added. I'm going to put this here. As you can see, I'm cheating right now because I'm creating records in the database. But what I want to do is make this one test that I have pass. And in a separate scenario, I can replace this with the proper way of creating counts. But for now, this will work. So I have an account. I'm saying account first. And it complains about something else. It says it doesn't know about account path because the form for helper that I have in this edit file. So this one does some magic behind the scenes and generates a path or is looking for a specific path. So here it says it's looking for account path, and I don't have that. So I need to create a route for that. And what I'm going to do is create a resources accounts. I'm going to create all of them. Or actually, only edit. Okay. Edit. Okay, let's try that. So let me see what routes I do have. So I only have one route because I've said I only want the edit action. And the path is different. So it takes an ID. Okay, let's see. Let's try. Oh, wait. It's not complaining about this one. It's complaining about the other one. It's complaining about this one. So it needs an ID here. So how am I gonna get an ID? I kind of need a way to fetch the current account, right? So in my site controller, I'm gonna need to have a method called, I don't know, maybe current account or something like that. So I know on every request, I want to know what is the current account. Actually, I'm going to put that in the application controller. So let's create a method here called current account. Or actually, let's do this even better. On the link here, I'm going to say current account, right? And I'm going to let the test tell me what to do next. Okay, so now it says, I don't know what current account is, at which point I'm going to tell it what current account means. Okay, so current account is going to be count.first. And I'm going to make this a helper method so I can have it in the view. Okay, now it complains about the edit file where it says, I don't know what account path is. And it's looking for account path instead of the correct way of the correct route for the edit action, because I haven't mentioned what my form should do. So I want this form to be an update. So I need to tell it the method of the form needs to be put, because that's how you update records with the put HTTP method. Okay, so undefined account path. Let me see if I change the route and do this update, if that's gonna change anything. And it does. So I have my previous 4 steps working, and it says I should be on the home page, but I'm obviously not, because I'm on the edit page. And that's probably because I'm not doing anything out here. I'm not submitting the form, right? And so in my step file, after I fill in this field, I want to click on count, edit, submit, right? So here, I'm going to need to have a button with an ID of account, edit, submit. Now let's see. Okay, so now it's complaining about a different thing. It's missing the update action. Okay, I'm going to go to my controller, create the update action, see what's next. Right, so now it doesn't complain about the update action, but it tells me it expects the path to be accounts 1. Sorry, it expects the path to be homepage, but it's accounts 1. So that's because I'm not doing anything in the update action. So let's satisfy that complaint. So let's redirect to root path, because that's what it was complaining about. Okay. So it says I'm expecting to find new name, but I see welcome and account details. Okay, well, let's display the name in there, right? Welcome, current account.name. Okay, let's see what it does now. Okay, so it's expecting to see new name, but it sees welcome Google. And that's because I haven't updated the name. So in my update action, I need to say, okay, let's update that record's name. So I'm going to have an account. I need to find existing account. Okay, and then I need to update it. With params acquire account or accounts and permit name. Okay, and if that's successful, I'm going to redirect to the root path. And there you go. And the feature is complete. So let's try it in the browser now. Rails S. I'm going to switch to my browser. Localhost. Oh, I don't have an account. I'm going to create one real quick. So I'm going to create an account in my development environment. And that says, welcome Google, because that's the name I gave it. And now if I go here and say Microsoft update, it says welcome Microsoft.